Hey everyone, welcome back to the Shift Podcast. I'm your host, Ricardo, and this is the space where inspiration meets leaders, mentors, and the everyday person who wants to make a change in the lives of other people. This is the show where we bring on guests that will come in and share their expertise, that will share their wisdom, practical knowledge of how you can shift your mindset. It is rooted in the philosophy of Ubuntu, which means I am because we are. Because if you win, all of us win. And it's that framework that we use. Shift means shaping how I feel and think. So this week we have an amazing guest. Hey guys, welcome back again. This week we have Chris Flynn with us. He's a health coach and he is a business owner, and he's going to be talking about more about health and how team dynamics can improve. And I'm excited. This guy has been, we've known each other for more than a year now, and I can definitely say that every time then we connect, things change, things shift. And so, Chris, welcome to the show, brother. Thank you so much for having me back. For being here, man. Yeah, the last time you came, we were a different place, and Ruben was there as well, right?
Yeah.
But this week, it's all about the shift. We have a signature question every time on the podcast is, what does the shift mean to you? The transitions of life, how important is a shift?
It's quite a relevant question to me at the moment because of where I'm at with things.
Yeah.
I'm currently going through a transition from one business that we've been rolling with for 5 years into a new one in a different environment. So, you know, environment can often be everything. So my environment is changing. It's a big shift. My mindset around how I approach business is changing. But at home, I had a daughter, Grace, who you know, Gracie G, and she's a year old now. So that's been a huge shift that, you know it's coming, you know, during the pregnancy with your wife, your partner, you know it's coming. But then when it happens, it just takes you on a roller coaster of changes. You know, I think even at a biological level, you know, hormones, it's not just the wife, it's not just the mother, the father. I've been listening to some stuff recently about the biological shift in men, you know, like adjustments of testosterone. That's where we get our energy from. And that changes, there's a big shift there. Adjustment in sleep patterns. You know, sleep is a big. I'm a sleep guy. I'm one of those guys who's you know likes 8 hours.
Yeah.
You know, that's when I operate the best, and that has been you know, that's changed significantly. I haven't been getting 8 hours. I haven't been getting into deep sleep.
Yeah.
Because Gracie G, she wakes up quite a lot during the night. We're sharing a bed, the three of us. So then there's a lot of shifts happening right now. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, give us, like, for people who don't know you, just a little bit of background of, you know, what you've done in the past, where you are now, just so people can just connect with who you are.
So I'm a Cardiff boy. You know, I left Cardiff at 16 and a half. I left Cardiff, left my family, have a big family here, and joined the military and so my first career was in the military. And I think that often defines you because it's such a strong identity. People will automatically place me as a military man. But, you know, I spent more time out of the military than in the military now.
Okay.
I did 12 and a half years and then left. I traveled, I worked around the world in Dubai, in Miami, in Australia for a little bit. In London, so worked around in different industries and came back. But I suppose the military was more of a fitness kind of thing, mental fitness, physical fitness. It obviously has that component to it. And then when I left, I went into occupational health.
Okay.
So I was looking at how large scale environments and working practices can affect people collectively, a workforce in the Middle East, in the shipping industry. So I was looking at health there. When I went to Miami, I started a children's cartoon called Cartoon Fitness, trying to get children moving again, using cartoons as a medium by which to do it. And so I've always been thinking about health. It's always been a primary driver and motivator in my life, is to put health first. I think that health is wealth. I think it's the greatest investment you could ever make in yourself is to improve your health. And by that, I don't mean, you know, necessarily how fast you run, you know, how much weight you can move. I don't mean that. I mean, like, you know, your ability to sleep now. You know, at 42, I'm thinking more about things like sleep, how well are you breathing? A lot of people have dysfunctional breathing these days. 53% of the UK have dysfunctional breathing practices. It affects everything, sleep, mindset, appetite, heart rate, blood pressure. It's all affected by the way that we breathe. So I've looked at a lot of breathing in the last 3 years. I've been really interested in that. So I've always been interested in health. And when I moved back to Wales 7.5, 8 years ago now, it dawned on me. I left the States and Dubai. I'd been there for 5 years. I came back to the UK, and it was very evident, just from walking around the city, how unhealthy people were. And I mean the stats back all of that up, but you just kind of know.
Yeah.
You can see it in people. They're not slept. They're poorly nourished.
Yeah. So, when you say about health, where did it start for you, like when you were younger? How did it kind of like, how did that click for you in terms of like health, the importance of, like you're saying, health is wealth?
I would say, parents, obviously have a huge impact on that. But grandparents, don't underestimate the influence of your grandparents on who you are.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to have both sets of grandparents still around. And it's certainly on my father's side, Grandma Flynn, Grandad Flynn, without trying, just naturally healthy people. They ate only what they needed, not what they wanted.
Okay.
They were always thinking about others in food. So they never overate because they always knew that people couldn't eat. So they were only the portion. So they were very reserved in what they ate. They weren't greedy people, which looking back now, I really appreciate, especially in today's age where everyone just eats what they want.
Yeah.
And my father, he was a runner. He was a good mountain runner, a foul runner, and would compete. And he was like my hero growing up. He had motorbikes and he ran a lot, and he was always training. He was always just walking around in a pair of shorts. That's all he wore. Like 2 or 3 of my first girlfriends were introduced to my dad, and he was in like these, they're basically hot pants. And yeah, so many girlfriends would relay the first time I met Steve. That was him, He's just like, he was back then. He was just scruffy. That's when he was happiest. So he was always in great shape, and I admire that, and he loved that. He had a sense of adventure. He liked to be in the mountains. Yeah, that's when he was free. He would run on his own for hours in the hills, and that was, and I saw that as that was just an adventure he would go on. That was his thing.
Yes.
That was his thing, feeding his soul. So I think that was ingrained in me. And then me and my brothers, we were movers. We were always doing something physical. Bikes, building jumps on bikes, skateboards, roller skate hockey, martial arts. We were always doing something physical. Wow.
That's crazy, because you just came back from France, you and your family, and you rode to France. Yeah. So, like, I thought with the motorbikes, I didn't know it was actually something growing up. Yeah. With bikes and,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, bikes has been a big part. Yeah, for sure. Like, I think it's in my top 5, probably top 3 invention is the bike, because of the freedom that it allows you, to have a bicycle, and then a motorbike as well. Yeah. There's a true sense of freedom in that. So my wife was gracious enough to allow me to ride through France with a friend of mine, stopping at all the D-Day landing sites along the way, camping out on the beaches, and then all the way down. And then we met them in the south of France. Wow! But yeah, I mean, seeing my dad ride bikes growing up, we would go on the back. He would sit us on the front
with his pants,
with his pants on, and his running shoes. He was a hero. He was a legend, And now you'd be in PPE and safety gear and the rest of it. He used to just rip them, and I always saw that as very cool.
Adventure. So when you came back, you started with the Green Mile. Yeah, the Green Mile, and then we can go into what you do now. So how did that idea come about with the Green Mile?
So the Green Mile was a response to that thing that I mentioned, with seeing how people needed to put health as a priority. I think the quickest and most low cost thing we can do as a nation to get this nation back on its feet would be to focus on our physical health, and if it would save us money, it wouldn't cost, it would save. And I knew that physical health was the starting point. We hear a lot of talk about mental health and emotional health, which has its place, of course, but actually you can't have a proper conversation about mental health and emotional health if you're not sleeping, eating, drinking enough water. If you haven't moved for the last 7 years, do not expect to feel good in your mind. Your mind it will respond to what your body's doing. Your emotions are formed up in that as well. And if you're not sleeping, eating, drinking, moving, thinking, nourishing, hydrating, if you're not outside in sunlight, if you haven't got fresh air, if you're inside artificial environments all the time, you're going to start feeling pretty artificial. So, I know that the starting point is physical health. For most people, the majority.
So when you say physical health, does it mean like you have to go to the gym, you have to go?
No, I don't even think that. I think in a perfect world there would be no such thing as gyms. You wouldn't need a gym. The gym is a modern response to ill health. If everybody was walking, I think you do need to lift something. I think there is something really in like resistance training, of lifting your own body weight. That might be a bit of climbing, jumping. Jumping releases so many good hormones in the body that regulates mood. People would feel fantastic if we went back to the basic movement patterns. Play. We're born to play. We should play. Physical play is important for children, but it's important for us. That's why we should always play sports. And I'm not saying if you're in your 50s you should take up rugby or football, do you know what I mean? But you should find a form of play that you can do with your friends. And as you get older, you have to just evolve and adapt that form of play to, at the end, maybe it's a walk with your friend and playing some chess. Maybe some balls, and you see a lot of bowling greens now. A lot of older people, they still adapted to play. We have to play.
So that was with the Green Mile training camp. You brought that. So many teams, so many clubs came through that, through with you guys doing amazing work with people.
We had a lot of teams. So the Green Mile training camp was born out of a desire to try and fix this problem of physical health. So we wanted to get people outside, moving in more difficult environments, off flat surfaces, in the rain, in the sun, in the snow, using the body as it was intended to be used, looking at distance and seeing natural things makes people feel good. And so we wanted to do that. So we started the Green Mile training camp, myself, Craig and Josh. We started that, and since then, almost 5 years ago, we've had pro teams through. So we had on Monday the Dragons come through, Bristol Rovers in a couple of weeks, Bristol City Rovers, or Bristol Rovers.
Bristol Rovers and Bristol City is two different
ones. We had Bristol City, as you know, because you were there. Cardiff City, lots of... who?
Leicester.
We had Leicester. Welsh rugby team, Welsh women's, lots of pro clubs, and more amateur clubs, youth clubs, schools and universities, and then corporate teams. So we've had lots and lots of those.
Wow.
So we've been in that place, and then we built a studio. We have a studio. It's a yoga studio, but it does all sorts of different health and well-being related activities, like retreats, things like that. So we've been doing that, and we had a lot of requests from those people to come into businesses. They say, you teach all of this stuff, it's very beneficial, there's a good impact, there's a profound impact on the people. What do you take this into the organisation? And up until that point we didn't, but then we realised the potential impact we can have within businesses, if we were in there. So we started doing a couple of gigs for businesses, going in and running sessions, and that was so successful that we launched a company called Team Health Performance, THP, and the premise is healthy people, healthy business.
Come on.
If we can energize the people, we can elevate mood we can promote energy, you know, we can get people encouraged, we can get them thinking well, we can get them motivated. And we want to be, are we going to fix all of the health problems? Not to begin with, but what we can be is like a catalyst for change. We can just be that trigger for a new mindset, for a paradigm shift around health. You know, how can you start thinking differently about your health?
Yeah.
Because all of the important health statistics in the UK and the Western world, you could say, they're all going the wrong way. You know, we are looking at, we're seeing it visually, but you can read this stuff. You know, diabetes is on the up. Dementia is set to grow by over 30% in the next 20 years.
Wow.
30%, you know, and we know dementia is linked to physical health. You know, cancers are going to shoot up. Diabetes is increasing year on year. Mental health problems are going up significantly, and they're projected to increase again over the coming 10 years.
Yeah.
I would say it's the biggest problem that the country faces with the easiest solution. That's my opinion, you know, is that because the solution doesn't cost. It's not, the answer is not medication. You know, medication has got us largely, I think, into this idea that we can just pop a pill, instant gratification, we can fix this problem. It's going to take some work, and I think that's, you know, in order to begin that work, we need a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
You know?
So that shifted then for you, the Green Mile training, you're still part of that, but then it's going into the businesses now. Tell us about the new team health performance. I like what you did with retreat. When we hear the word retreat, we always think about going away, isn't it? Going away on a retreat.
Yeah.
But I love what you guys are doing in terms of retreat in the workplace.
Yeah.
Wow. How did that concept come about?
So for a company to come away, to go on a retreat, you think about the financial impact of that on the business. You take 25, 50 people, maybe more, away out of the business. You've lost the work time, the cost of taking them somewhere, you know, logistically, the cost of whatever activities you're doing, the food, the impact of the business is quite big. So, you know, that's nice to do.
Yeah.
And I think more and more companies are looking at things like retreats instead of just going out, playing some Skittles, you know, going out to town and drinking and eating. I think companies are actually trying to energize people. Actually, how do we make them feel good?
Yeah.
You know, it's not drinking. You know, that's a quick fix, but we know the net impact of that is negative. So businesses are looking to do more health related stuff, and they are coming up to us to do some of that. But actually, can you do it on a more regular basis with less of an impact financially for the company?
I bet some leaders like that. And so it's not, we're not giving out any money. You know, you coming in and the expenses is not that massive. Yeah,
it's just our time. You know, and the sessions we're doing are 90 minutes. So we're coming in and we're just trying to get people in a better frame of mind to initiate some change in things like blood pressure, heart rate, hormones in the body, mindset, blood flow, oxygen, carbon dioxide. So there's a lot of stuff we can do biologically that alters mood.
Yeah.
You know, like we do feed them as well. We've got some high energy treats, hip balls we take in, which are all natural high energy treats. Get people eating stuff that is more natural, gives them actual energy rather than artificial sugars.
Hey, because we had Sarah and Carly from Hit Balls. I don't know if you know them.
A little bit. We've met.
You met. You know, so I plug them. People get some of that stuff. I mean, I just had my last batch. It's incredible. In terms of how these balls can just energize you. So you guys would take those stuff into workplaces as well.
Yeah, we take them in on all of our sessions, so they're just an optional, different, you know, an option for people at the end to say, listen, you know, we've done some work for 90 minutes. A lot of it is movement based, and we just have an option of, you know, have an actual high energy treat. This will provide you proper energy. It's natural sugars, so from dates and things like that. So they get a nice, more even spike of energy instead of the peak that you get with artificial sugar and then the drop.
And how is that? How is the, from coming in? Give us an example about, like, say you come into a company, you see again the before, and then you see the progress, and then towards the end. Give us a little bit of insight if people out there want you to come, you and your team come. What would that look like? What did you see before? What did you see in the middle and towards the end?
Okay, that's a great question, and so I've seen it. It's very, very profound. I've seen it in a number of companies now. When you walk in, and first of all, people are, where's my phone? They'll have the phone.
Yeah.
And people don't even want to engage. They're not engaging with the colleagues. Yeah. They're not engaging with me. Hi, good morning, everyone. Hi, right, yeah. And they're like, what am I doing here? I've been told to be here. I've been, it's not always the case, but this is the worst case scenario. Some people can be very closed off, and I walk in and I know straight away, okay, I've got some work to do here, and that's my job, that's my job to turn that around. And fair enough, people aren't showing up to work expecting to feel amazing.
You're right.
So that's why they've hired us. So I go in, posture is a big one. People be very closed off straight away. Like this, what are you going to show me, mate? What have you got,
come and impress me. And I've heard this. I heard a lot about this.
The evolution of posture, mate. You see it. They're like this. They make, they might give you a little bit of this, and then the heads come up. They start listening, and you throw out some questions. You get a little bit of discussion going, and they're like, no, I get that, and then they kind of relax a little bit. But there's still some barriers there. Until the end of it, they're kind of all sat up, leaning in, like, I get it. And it's very engaging, interactive. So it's like an evolution of posture. So that is, you could say that's quite measurable. How people, what they say at the end, the feedback is, has always been very positive from everyone. I've never received any negative feedback that they told me, at least, about how they feel. It's a subjective thing, but I feel much better. Great. The job's been done, and it's objective in the fact you can measure some of these things. People come in with high blood pressure. You can measure that. You can lower that. You can come in with how many breaths people are taking at rest. How many breaths we take while we're sat down at rest is indicative of where we are in our nervous system. If I'm mouth breathing, over breathing, so often my nervous system is flickering into fight and flight. I'm not very balanced. I don't feel very peaceful and composed today. So we can measure that. We can bring that down. So there's a number of things that you can measure. Things like posture. I'll do a little test to see how open people's shoulders are. When the shoulders are closed, the rib cage is closed, the diaphragm has less space to move. It's more work just to breathe. And if you're doing that 20,000 times a day, which a lot of people are, they breathe that much, there's a lot of extra effort being used just to breathe. So I measure people's posture in their shoulders, in their rib cage. We do a couple of practices to loosen it up. I measure it again, and we see what the difference is. So there are some very obvious measurements you can make.
How does that help them in terms of, say, take for instance, they say, oh man, I feel good. Do you then find out again maybe afterwards, like maybe a week or 2 weeks, on kind of getting feedback to be like, my posture's good now, I'm in work, I breathe well, all of that stuff? Do you get that sometimes, or people still emailing you or saying, hey, things have shifted here?
So we get a lot of follow-up emails, and bearing in mind we're still very new. This was only started in February, so we're still, I guess, in the conceptual phase at the moment, still figuring out exactly what works the best, what lands the best with businesses. But what we want to do, and I'm talking to somebody in the NHS at the moment about rolling out a program where we can measure those things over time. So doing like a peer group study. You take a group of a certain department of people, 30, 40 people, and we'll do a session where we discuss the whole program and the study, and then we'll go in every week. Small sessions, 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, 30 minutes here, and we measure things like posture, pain. levels of pain. People have a lot of pain these days through restricted posture. Heart rate, breathing rates, blood pressure, things like that. Sleep. How much sleep are you getting? Just quite simply writing it down from week to week, giving them practices, talking them, developing, bringing them along and encouraging them along the way.
Yeah.
And at the end of the study saying, this is where we started, this is where we're finished, this is what we did, and then we can make our judgments.
That's good, man, because I think sometimes with these, like even with the work that I'm doing, people feel inspired. Yeah, Chris came in, I feel pumped up, I feel ready, and then, it is just that motivation. But the inspiration bit is kind of like, what are you going to do with that? And are you going to build on that? Are you going to find books or go on YouTube, things related to what actually, that personal responsibility of what I've learned. And I like what you're saying is to go back those 30 minutes. It's to that accountability to help them so it becomes a normal habit now for them. Where they can implement it. In terms of leadership, what I find, Chris, is that leadership of corporate companies or businesses, they let you come in. How well are they in terms of the leaders themselves, the CEOs, and do they join in, or is it, hey, I'm paying you to help these people? And in terms of leadership, how important is that collective?
So, because we're so young, we haven't had a huge insight to that just yet.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of companies come up to us, to our facility, and we've seen them there. Where they normally join them, we meet them as a team, as a whole, and which is great. Seeing them in their own environment and who shows up and how they show up is yet to be seen because of how young we are as a business.
So take for instance, people who come up to you guys because they come into your space. Are the bosses, the leaders, the CEOs, are they part of that group? Or is it just, let's send these people?
No, they're part of the group.
They're part of
the group, you know. And the people, or the companies that come to us are ran by the types of bosses, CEOs, MDs, that want to be part of the mix. They want to develop their teams and themselves collectively. They're the ones that you want to see, you know? That's
good, because sometimes when I find with these, it's like people see, okay, what service you're providing. Sort this lot out. Sort them out. You know, I it's like that kind of, would you say, just take care. I don't need to deal with
this problem off
this problem off me. I'm paying you to do so. Sort them out because I want to be able just to breathe well and not worry about that stuff. And I'm thinking, like, I'm from the mindset of like, no, mate. No, mate. I'm looking for people in terms of those bosses who says, no, I need it just as much as they need it, but start with me. Start with my senior leadership team. Start. That there is, because these are the cultural carriers. You carry the culture, you have the vision, you know the DNA, and you in Ibiza.
Having a good old
My brother, you in Ibiza. Just making sure that, hey, how are they doing? It's so important, like you're saying, that healthy people equals healthy business. So some people, get them healthy, not me, get them healthy, so my business can benefit from it. I feel it's the importance of, it's that collective, all of us together. And I feel sometimes with some leaders, there's no approachability. There's no, people can come to you. So it's weird, because it's a lot of hard work that needs to go in, because you come in, I go in, we help the team try to build the culture, but then leaders or senior leadership team aren't approachable. So people feel, I can't come to you, my posture's right now, I'm breathing well, but when I need to come to you, it is, my breathing just goes a different way because I'm not going to be heard.
No, I mean, we want to position the company in such a way that we're only working with companies that want to work with us, and the whole company or the whole department, the whole team. We're not trying to go out to to everybody.
Right.
Not everybody wants to see us.
Yeah.
You know, those types of organisations, they'll be doing it for box checking purposes. You know, so the boss might say, you know, like you say, sort my team out. We want to be part of cultural shift.
Yeah.
You know, so certain companies, they might be small. You know, we want to build relationships with those. We want to work with the ones who want to work with us, who are going to get the most out of us.
Yeah, good.
And you know, if we look at the whole of the organisation, we could see it as a reflective of the whole of society is suffering. You know, a lot of these people, it might just be mindset. It might be the way that they talk to themselves. You know, it might be how well they sleep. Do they move? You know, how much time do they spend outside? Do they have hobbies? You know, how healthy would you class yourself? We want to speak to the whole of the organisation from the top down, and I think, you know, there is that top down effect. If he or she buys in, you know, the chances of success with everybody else will be increased.
Come on, man.
You know.
Before that, we were saying about breathing. I mean, Ruben behind the camera is. Could you take us through maybe breathing exercise or, you know, what you were saying earlier? Because I think that I want to feel different. Okay, we all want to feel different, right? So we can bring the feeling, that's no problem. So we were talking before we came on about how well we breathe through the nose. Quite often we feel more composed and at peace when we breathe through our nose. When we're more stressed, we open the mouth, we're more in the chest. So what we want to be is in the nose and more in the belly. But if we have a stuffy nose, a lot of people will have a stuffy nose day to day because of things like pollen, dusts and fumes, you know, just the toxins that are in the air naturally in a city environment are a lot greater than they used to be. So they are triggering sinus responses, you know, to be inflamed, to produce more mucus. So people are finding it harder to breathe through their nose. We're sitting down, you know, I'm sitting down now. Most of my day is sat with my posture, you know, my shoulders are coming forward, my rib cage is closing, and my diaphragm, my breathing muscle, which is here, is now restricted. So when I breathe through my nose, I'm using my diaphragm more. It recruits my diaphragm. When I'm sat down, my diaphragm is restricted. My mouth opens because it's easier. I don't have to fight that restriction. It's just easier to breathe through my mouth. It's a bigger hole, less resistance, but it's not beneficial to breathe through your mouth. There's a number of reasons for that. We need to use the nose. Now, a lot of people have restricted airways. I did for a long time because my nose was broken, you know, growing up. So we need to open up the nose, the sinuses that sit behind the nose. So here's a practice we can do. Are we okay to stand up? Yeah.
Can we stand up? Okay. So what we're going to do is take a little stand, relax our shoulders. We're breathing through our nose. And when we're ready, we're going to exhale out of the nose. So we're going to breathe out. When we get to the end of that breath, when it comes out fully, we're going to pinch and hold the breath. When we hold, we're going to do 10 steps on the spot with the breath held. 9, 10, release, and then breathe through the nose. That's our first round, okay? So when you're ready, breathe out. At the end of that breath, pinch and hold, 10 steps. Mouth remains closed, breathe through the nose, settle it down. Try and relax the belly. So when I breathe through my nose, watch my belly. When I breathe through my mouth, it's chest and shoulders.
Yeah.
That's your fight and flight system. That's your rest and digest. We want to be rest and digest most of the time. You trigger that system through your breath. You could be triggering the wrong one. So we're using the nose to recruit here. That's the first round. We're going to do the second round, but this time we're going to do 12 steps.
Okay.
So same drill. Breathe out, end of that breath, pinch and hold the breath. Give me 12 big steps.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, off you go. Pinch and hold, 12 steps. Nice, big dynamic steps. Keep that breath held. As soon as you finish, release the nose, continue to breathe through the nose. Okay, now I can hear it getting a bit more challenging. So what's happening is the sinuses, which take up 30% of the space on your face. They're going to be opened up now with carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is what we breathe out. Because we're holding our breath and moving, we're producing more carbon dioxide in the blood, so carbon dioxide is going up. Carbon dioxide is what we call a vasodilator. It opens up your blood vessels to promote blood flow. The first place it does that is in the sinuses. So as the blood vessels open up, your sinuses open up. So after round 3, 4, maybe 5, you're going to feel cooler air coming into the nose, warmer air leaving. So we're going to do round 3. Exhale, pinch and hold. We're going to do 14 steps. Okay, off you go. I'm going to have a drink. Pinch and hold. Nice big steps. That's good. Keep it going. It's going to be challenging, this one. Okay, it's getting more challenging. Slow the breath down. So within the first 2 or 3 breaths, we want to try and get the breathing to be like this, nice and gentle, instead of like this. So it normally takes 2, 3 breaths. It's quite panicky. 2 to 3 breaths, and we're back in. Okay? You notice any difference yet? Okay, we're going to do one more round. We're not going to do 16. We're going to do as many steps as you can take, providing at the end of it, you don't open the mouth. So if you do 50 steps, all right, you've overcooked it. You don't want to do 50. We want to do as many as you can, providing when you released, you can still maintain nasal breathing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ruben is doing great as well.
Ruben's doing great.
Behind the scenes.
Camera. Big fan. Keep it going. As many steps as possible. Breathe out. That's it, boys. As many as you can. Keep those lips closed. Keep it going as far as you can. Settle the breathing down. Make it gentle. Relax the belly. Let the air travel down into your diaphragm so your belly comes out and in. As you breathe in, belly comes out. As you breathe out, the belly goes in. Good. How's that?
It's more kind of like open,
Yeah.
more free, more relaxed.
Yeah. And if you had very stuffy sinuses, you would do it again. You would do another round. You would do a few rounds, and normally 4 or 5 rounds is enough.
Every morning?
Whenever you notice you get stuffy sinuses.
Yeah.
Now the stepping on the spot is just movement. To burn through oxygen.
Ruben, how was it for you?
Well, I had a stuffy nose a minute ago.
Yeah.
What's it like now?
It's definitely like opened up a lot more.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So if it was really stuffy, you would do another round. You know, I would say if we had all the time in the world, maybe we'll do some after the pod, is do another round or 2. So it can be, it's so effective, that practice, that if you had a cold and your sinuses were completely blocked out, you can still open the sinuses and then maintain nasal breathing.
And it's a good feeling, man.
It's a good feeling.
It's a good feeling. So like you're saying, if you sit and like doing that and you do it a couple of times, you come back, you feel like even now, you can feel it's like freed. It's just...
It's opened it up because all the blood vessels have done that. They've opened. And the reason you feel good, now you can take that to the extreme. I get athletes doing this with a mask on. I restrict airflow so they're doing almost breath holds whilst they're sprinting, open the mask, then get them to breathe shallow. So CO2 has gone way up, you know, their blood vessels have done that. But if your blood vessels are open and you're carrying more blood, what does blood carry? More oxygen. So you get more oxygen around the body, into the soft tissue, the brain, the muscles, when you're working, by breathing less. So I reduce my breathing so much that I'm actually holding my breath and I get more oxygen.
Gee.
It's called the Bohr effect. Yeah, so it's counterintuitive. You think to get more oxygen, you need more air.
So when people do the cold thing, what is the ice?
Yeah.
What happens there then?
So that's a natural reaction.
Yeah.
All right, that's a natural reaction. You get into cold water, it is a shock to the body. All right, the body feels it as a physical stimulus the body will send you into fight and flight. You naturally open the mouth, breathing becomes all dysregulated, shallow, more frequent. So what we teach people in the cold is, you might have a physical stressor, like the cold, but what we want to do is recalibrate the way that you respond to that stress by breathing differently. Wow. Because the first thing that changes, the first shift in the body when you're exposed to stress is the breath.
Yeah, it's weird because when people say, just breathe well, I was like, bro, it's cold.
Yeah.
It's cold, it's shock. You're talking about breathing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to find air.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, but then also, and I saw when you guys do it, then how maybe after the third time people just rest in it. Just like what we did here. It's like that's good. You know what I mean? And is it like your body then adapt to that cold, or what happens?
You're causing the response. So your brain is listening to your body. It's monitoring things like breath. It's monitoring heart rate and blood pressure. So if you're in control of the breath, you can consciously control your breath, as we've just learned. So if your body wants to respond a certain way, but you're consciously responding the way you choose to respond by making the breath calm and composed through the nose, the brain is listening, going, all right, I feel the cold, but the boy's not gone into shock response. The boy is still quite calm. I tell you what, you can continue to have blood flow throughout the body, because when we go into fight and flight, often the brain will cause the body to pull blood back out of the extremities of the body to protect it. If it's in fight and flight, it thinks it's being attacked, so it pulls blood back. That's why people who are often stressed and panicked have cold hands and feet, because they have less blood flow, because the brain has done that to protect it. It's pulled blood around here because we can't live without here. Plus we need more blood around here in case we need to get running or whatever. And the brain can be tricked into doing the opposite. So through the breath, you're sending positive signals to the brain saying, I'm relaxed.
Yeah, we're okay here.
We're okay. We're in rest and digest. I feel the cold. I see the trigger. I see the thing that makes me want to go into fight and flight. I feel it, all the rest of it. All these environmental changes might be happening, but I'm choosing to consciously respond like this. And it only takes milliseconds. The brain says, the boy's relaxed. Have some blood back, or maintain blood flow, so people then can be like this even in stressful situations by using the power of their breath.
Wow.
You know,
with the workshops that I'm doing, sometimes it's 200 kids, and I was just thinking, wow, that could be a very good before we start, all of us.
Yeah.
Because again, they come with different things and backgrounds and different shock factors and all of these things. Just how I feel now, I'm like, wow, imagine we bring them to that place where, and maybe, I don't know, an exercise before every class. Yeah. You could kind of like do that, but this was really, really helpful, man. And so if people want to book you guys, well, how can people get in contact with you?
Email is the most straightforward, info@teamhealthperformance.co.uk. LinkedIn, Chris Flynn on LinkedIn, or THP on LinkedIn. We're doing a lot of stuff through there, business to business. Yeah. Drop us an email, numbers on there, give us a call. Yeah. And we'd be more than ready and willing to help out and discuss how we can be of assistance, bring energy back to the team. Come on, man. Before we end, what shifts do you think people can implement, whether it's a business person out there, a young person, people who watch the podcast? What could they do? Where could they start with a shift if they want to succeed? Easy one, low cost shift, movement. Movement is energy. If you're struggling for creative energy, for just general energy day to day, if you want to shift the mood, movement is the catalyst for that. It's free. You're born to do it. Everything will respond differently when you move. People are suffering because they're sat down, they're living very sedentary. If you want to feel like you, and you want to feel good, you have to move. It's medication, and you're born for it. Come on, man. Chris,
Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you so
Absolute
much
pleasure.
for coming on. And guys, there is, think about what shift can you apply today. Get that shift going. And also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you know how we do. Catch you on the next one. Peace.